in order to get himself back on the winning track. And if you have not seen the Blood Oath, then you don't know what you're missing. Because it is one of the most intense promos, in my opinion, in wrestling history. But Joe Leduc, Jerry the King Lawler, can Lawler get himself back on the winning track against the Yukon Lumberjack as Joe Leduc double leg takedown and is feasting on the forehead of Lawler. Joe Leduc is going right to Lawler. He's going right after Lawler. I think Joe Leduc has the decree from Dutch Mantel to finish what Dutch started and take down the King. And that's why Lawler has had to deal with Joe Leduc going crazy to start out the matchup, more crazier than usual for the Canadian Lumberjack. Leduc, inverted atomic drop by Lawler. Lawler beals him down to the mat. Big uppercut by Lawler. And another atomic drop takes down Leduc. Another atomic drop takes down Leduc. March is the month of the King. March is to Jerry the King Lawler. As Lawler goes to the middle rope. Twisting elbow off the middle rope by the King. Lateral press. And Joe Leduc kicks out at the count of 2. Joe Leduc is a testament of the time, meaning he is somebody that you would expect to see wrestling in the 1980s or the 70s and the 80s during the territories. Leduc is a product of the time, not a testament of the time. He's a product of the time, as Lawler again goes for the knife edge chop. But at this time, Leduc blocks him, but Lawler is able to strike and drop Leduc with a big DDT. He dropped Joe Leduc with a big DDT, lateral press, and another kick out as Leduc kicks out again at the count of 2. Lawler went for a quick jab, but Leduc reversed him. Lawler reverses Leduc back. Fist drop by Lawler. Fist drop by Lawler. Lawler's back to the middle rope, but Leduc's getting back up. Double axe handle takes him back down, and Lawler goes again for a lateral press. And again, Leduc kicks out at the count of 2. Lawler's getting frustrated. Lawler is getting frustrated. This coming off of Lawler having big back body drop by Leduc. Leduc with a spinebuster drops Lawler. First lateral press in a matchup from Leduc, and Lawler kicks out at the count of 1. If there's anybody that's going to have to keep back his frustration, if there's anybody that's going to have to keep back his anger, it is Joe Leduc, because, well, for my opinion, I'm happy that Leduc is in the ring and I'm out of the ring in the booth, because if there's anything I wouldn't want to deal with, I wouldn't want to deal with Joe Leduc as Jerry Lawler gets in another 2 count and this time turns his attention to the referee, complaining about a slow count from the side of the referee, as Leduc gets whacked with a thunderous chop. Dropped down by the King. Mid-ring collision. Leduc catches him and sends Lawler into the ropes. And throttles him with a big back body drop. Lawler reverses. Quick jab. And an atomic drop by the King. An atomic drop by the King. King goes for a basement dropkick, but Leduc with a forearm shiver right to the small of the back. Forearm shiver right to the small of the back. Repeated forearm shivers to the small of the back by Joe Leduc. Leduc is taking it to Lawler. Lawler strikes back with a big right. Fist drop. Fist drop by the King. Leduc reverses him. Fireman's carry. And Leduc drops Lawler across the top rope. Leduc drops Lawler across the top rope. This is the Blood Oath Reborn, as Lawler sends Leduc crashing, tumbling to the outside. Lawler sends Leduc crashing and tumbling to the floor. I believe it was Jos Leduc who sent Jerry Lawler to the outside through the timekeeper's table, breaking Lawler's leg in the process. It's one of those wild stories from the heyday of Memphis wrestling, as Lawler drops Leduc with an inverted atomic drop. And Jos Leduc gets sent back into the ring by the King. Lawler finds his way to the top rope. The referee wants him to come back down. Double X. No! Leduc reversed him with a very interesting looking backbreaker. But again, Lawler kicks out at the count of one. Leduc has got to get more offense in if he wants to defeat Jerry the King Lawler. The Yukon Lumberjack with a big backbreaker. But again, Lawler with an easy kick out. As now he's going after the eyes of Lawler. It's Jos Leduc. Leduc is going after the eyes of Lawler. I guess it was experience that allowed Lawler to kick out. Like, I don't think he was aware of what he was doing. I think he just did what he thought what he needed to do. Like, I think he just thought he did what he thought he needed to do when he kicked out the first time. And I don't know that he knew where he was, which after that right hand from Jos Leduc, and cross faces to the bridge of the nose and the forehead. Leduc is attacking the forehead of Lawler. Uncharacteristic of Jos Leduc, going to the top rope. Big knee off the top by Jos Leduc. Lawler rolls himself to the outside. Clubbing right by Lawler. Sends Leduc, I don't know if he sent him into the barricade or just Leduc just fell over. As Lawler sends him back the other way, I know he fell over that time. That is unquestionable. Lawler's back into the ring waiting for Jos Leduc. Leduc catches him. Leduc catches him. Bear hug by Jos Leduc. Bear hug by Jos Leduc. Jos Leduc's trying to get the King to submit. Jos Leduc is trying to get the King to submit. But the King is not giving up. The King doesn't want to fail again. The King wants to build momentum, to get revenge on Dirty Dutch Mantell. The King wants to get himself into the eyes of Mantell, but a one-handed backbreaker by Jos Leduc may cost the King his dream. No! Lawler kicked out again, and Jos Leduc is losing his freaking mind right now. Jos Leduc is losing his freaking mind right now. As he's attacking the eyes of the King, frustration is boiling over for the Yukon Lumberjack. Frustration is boiling over for Leduc, and thank God he doesn't have that axe, because if he had that axe, it would make things worse for the King. Imagine getting chased around the ring with an axe like you would when you piss off Jos Leduc. Or when you frustrate Jos Leduc, as Jos Leduc's going after the eyes again. By the end of the match, Lawler's going to be blind. Lawler gets sent back into the ring by Leduc, as Jos Leduc has the match in hand. Joe is just heaving Lawler around the ring now. Jos Leduc is just heaving Lawler around the ring. Now he's attacking the knee of the king. Lawler finally reversed him. He went for Leduc. He went for Leduc and got him in the eyes. But Jos Leduc is still in control of Jerry Lawler. Leduc is still in control of Lawler. Leduc is still in control. Lawler's finally fighting out of it. Lawler's finally fighting out of it. Thez press out of the corner. Thez press out of the corner. What a cut on the forehead of Jos Leduc. Leduc is busted open, and the bald head of Jos Leduc is showing the effects of his fight between himself and Jerry the King Lawler. Double knee, double feet, boots to the face of Lawler. Drop kick by the king. Drop kick by the king. Drop kick by the king. The forehead of Jos Leduc is bloodied. And Lawler ain't making it better for the lumberjack. Elbow drop off the top by Lawler. Elbow drop off the top by Lawler. He's measuring him again. He is measuring Jos Leduc again. And this time it connects. This time it connects. The king connects with the pile driver. The king connects with the pile driver. Leduc kicked out. Jos Leduc kicked out. And Lawler can't believe it. Lawler's losing his mind. Jerry the King Lawler is losing his mind right now as Leduc is fighting back to his feet. What the hell is Lawler going to have to do to beat Jos Leduc? Leduc reverses the pile driver. Leduc reverses the pile driver. One-handed backbreaker as Lawler loses to Jos Leduc. Lawler falls to Leduc. Lawler falls to Jos Leduc. Things have not gone well for the king. Things are not going well for the king. But to say that Jerry Lawler did not put up a fight against Jos Leduc, I don't think you can say that. As look at the forehead of Jos Leduc and you'd see that the king put up a hell of a fight. With that being said, though, what is next for the month of the king? Because thus far, the king makes us question if it's the month of the king or it's just the month of Memphis. With that being said, though, that is it from me, and I will see you in the next one.